Hey everyone, Jab here from Cut and Make Crafts, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make these beautiful monogram layered paper artwork using cardstock and your Cricut. Let's get started. So first of all, you're going to open up Design Space. So here we are in Design Space. I'm going to go on and next I'm going to click on upload image, and I'm going to click on browse to look for the file. So this is extremely important. So this step is extremely important to note because a lot of people message me at saying that they cannot find the SVG files, or the SVG file is not included. So the thing is, an SVG file appears with a browser icon on your computer, and you can't really see what's inside the SVG file. You can only see this in a design software or on softwares like Design Space. So keep this in mind. And usually when you purchase one of my files, you'll see that they come in these folders which have a zip on top of them. So this means the folder, all the files are packaged together inside this folder. So what you need to do is, after you download the folder, you need to right click and click on extract all and select the folder where you want all the contents to be extracted. So I'm gonna leave it to 3D layered monogram, under monogram, and I'm gonna click on extract. So as you can see, the moment I clicked extract, all the contents got extracted and immediately opened up a new window with all the files inside it. So over here we have 3 of these are, as you can see in the type section, 3 of these are PNG files. There are 2 PDF documents, and there are 3 folders, and I have named each folder separately. So there's 1 folder for SVGs, 1 for PNGs, and 1 for EPS. So if you're using Cricut Design Space, you're going to go to this SVG folder. However, if you're using Silhouette, you're going to use the EPS folder. So I'm going to go to SVGs, and you can see all the SVGs are inside this folder, and like I mentioned earlier, they will appear with a browser icon. So yours might have Firefox or Internet Explorer, any browser that you're using, it's going to appear over here. And in the type section, you'll see Chrome HTML document or your browser name HTML document. So don't be confused, because this means this is an SVG file. Another way to check is by right clicking and going to properties and looking at the end. So it says over here .svg, which means this is an SVG file. All right, so here are all my SVG files. So I'm gonna go back to Cricut, and I'm gonna go to this folder. I'm gonna click on SVG. I'm gonna go to this folder, and I'm gonna click on SVG, and I'm gonna select any of the letters. So let's just go with A. Wait for it to load, and here it is in Design Space. I'm gonna click on save, and I'm gonna insert this image into my canvas. All right, so I'm going to resize it. Usually I use letter size or A4 cardstock. So I'm going to resize. I usually resize my images to fit those, the size of the cardstock that I'm using. So I'm going to leave this as it is. And next, now depending on the number of layers, I'm going to create text and duplicate it so that the layers match. So over here we have 1, 2, 3, 5 layers. So I'm gonna add some text. Let's say Lisa. All right, so this is the name. This is sorry, should start from A. So let's say Eliza. All right. So let's so we have Eliza now. Now it's up to you what font you want to choose from here. So I usually use the Bookman style. All right, so we got our name done over here. Let me just reduce the letter spacing and everything, make it look better. All right, so that looks much better. Now, when I cut these out, they will be cut out as individual letters, and we don't want that. You can use that, but it's going to be really difficult to align them and everything. So what I like to do is I'm going to add a shape, square shape. And I'm going to unlock this thing. And I'm going to increase the width of this and turn it into a thin line, as you can see over here. And let's duplicate this so that both the top and the bottom layer are exactly the same length. And I'm just gonna place this on top. And let's increase the size. So both of these should be the same length. All right, so that looks perfect. Now I'm just going to select everything. I am going to weld it. So now when we cut it out, it's going to cut out on all the letters together. All right, so next what I'm going to do is duplicate this text 5 times, not a million times, 5 times, so that we have the same number of layers for both the things. So there are 3, and there you go, number 4. And now let's increase the size of this. And there you go. So everything is the same size now. So no matter what kind of monogram you're using from this monogram bundle, this is this technique you're gonna follow. Now let's say you're making something else. Let's say you're making this mom monogram or this beauty tools monogram. So just look at the number of layers in the layers panel that come with each of these monograms. So this one has around this one has 1, 2, 3, 6 layers, and this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 layers. So I'm gonna duplicate this 7 times so that both the things have the same number of layers. All right, so I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna cut everything out, and then I'm gonna assemble it. So let's talk about the supplies. So I'm gonna show you the cardstock that I used for these. So this is the cardstock that I used for all of these designs, and I got these from craftonline.com. They're pretty affordable, and I got them in bulk, so I purchased like 4 of these. And before I bought these, I got mirrored cardstock and as well as metallic cardstock, and I've used all of them. So this is the mirror cardstock. Unfortunately, I used them all because I only bought like 2 packs of those because I didn't know I was gonna use so many of them. And the shop is also out of stock, so that they only have these remaining, and I got like 4 to 5 bundles of these. So there are like 32 sheets, 4 different colors, and I love using them. They're 250 GSM, pretty thick, which is perfect for creating these layered mandala designs, because you want to use those sturdy cardstock which stays put and doesn't bend and stuff. You see, like, this is so sturdy, so stiff. I can just hold it like this, and had it been a paper, it would have been bending here and there, which is not the way we want it. So make sure you're using heavyweight cardstock like this one, 250 GSM or thicker 300 GSM, something like that would be good to use. And you're also gonna need foam squares. So these are foam squares that I use, and you can see them here just along the edge. You can see these foam squares. They're really tiny. These are the smallest one that I could get, and they since they're so tiny, you can't even tell that they're there unless you obviously look at it from the side. So yeah, these are really essential. And sometimes I use the tacky glue when I am attaching the last layer, or when I'm gluing two similar layers together like I did for this Cricut. So this topmost layer has 3 different cardstock stuck together. So I use this glue. If you want, you can also use an adhesive spray instead of this glue. Another type of cardstock that you can use is this one. So you get these in a couple of different shades, sorry, a couple of different colors. I've seen them, they're pretty popular. You can get them in Michael's and Joann, and sometimes they're on sale, and you can get each bundle for $2. And I got these from a local craft store here in Australia, which is Spotlight, and they have so many different colors. You get green, pink, purple. You can get these, and these are perfect for creating that ombre effect. Like when you go from light to dark or dark to light, it gives a really good look to the 3D design. So I've got one here that I created with this set of papers, and you can see looks really cool. You can see all the details here. Because there was a transition in color starting from the darkest to the lightest. So the topmost layer is the lightest one, and then to give that contrasting effect, I used the darkest shade at the top. So I love how this turned out. So here are all my layers that have been cut out, and now you have 2 options. You can either use a paper glue like this one, or you can, if you want to give that raised 3D layered look, you can use these foam squares. These are 4 mm by 4 mm, and I use this on pretty much all of my layered projects. I use the 3D squares on this one, and you can see it has like a lifted 3D layered look. Both of these, it's part of one letter, so it's an A. This also comes in the monogram bundle. So this is what it looks like with the foam squares, or you can just use glue to glue the layers together, and this is the result that you will get. It does have that 3D look, but it's more flattened compared to this one. So it's up to you what kind of look you are looking for. So based on that, you can use either this liquid glue or foam squares. So right now I'm going to show you how to assemble these using the liquid glue. So I've got all my bottom layers here, and you can refer to the photo included in the bundle to see how you can layer these and what is the pattern you need to follow to layer. So this is the bottommost layer, and then this one is gonna go on top. It's actually like this. So this one is gonna go on top, and then we will have our green layer, and then we have our pink layer on top, and last we have this gold layer. Alright, so I'm gonna glue everything together. So you gotta make sure you don't apply glue on the parts that will be visible. So what I like to do is apply the glue on the layer which will go on top. So this is the second layer, so I'm gonna apply the glue here. Now I'm gonna go ahead and apply glue on these sections. It's easier to do it after you have attached the main part. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and do this for the rest of the layers.